Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing the top 10 most anticipated comics for the month of April. So let's jump in. Number 10 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy issue 1. I am curious about this one. They've definitely been hyping it up with the Groot side of things, and also I like the creative team that's on board. I never thought I'd like a Captain America book, but Colin and Jackson have definitely made me enjoy that book and actually make it one of my favorite Marvel books. So as someone who's usually a little wishy-washy on Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm curious to see if this is also going to be a fan favorite for me. Moving on to number 9, which is Worldstar 33. I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but it's a new James Tynion book. Of course, I'm excited for this. And I like that it's diving into the darker side of the internet. I'm always curious about internet commentary and seeing what James Tynion will do from a horror lens of that. And also seems like it's going to be a female lead, which is always cool as well, that I think he does a really good job with. So that is number 9 for me. Moving on to number 8, which is Marvel Voices Spider-Verse issue 1. I'm curious about this one because usually the Marvel Voices have to do with LGBTQ or race. So I'm curious to see why they are picking Spider-Verse in particular. You know, what are these stories going to look like? Are they going to impact the Spider-Man universe, or are they going to kind of be more one and done? So very curious about this one and exactly which characters they're going to feature in it. Moving on to number 7, which is Deep Cuts issue 1. This is a new Kyle Higgins book. I love the universe and the properties that Kyle has been making. And he's just one of my favorite indie creators, comic book creators out there right now, with just how innovative he's been with comics. And I love a good comic that has to do with music. I also just visited New Orleans, so I'm very curious to see what this book's gonna bring and how it'll embrace music as a whole. Moving on to number 6, which is Superboy, The Man of Tomorrow, issue 1. And this is actually part of the round robin, so I'm not really sure if it's gonna be connected to what's going on with Superman right now, but I've been loving Joshua Williamson's Superman. I also like the new John Kent book, so I'm curious if this is just a cool momentum for the Superman family in general. And also, I'll never say no to Connor Kent. I believe he deserves the world. He deserves the spotlight. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be more of a one and done, or is this going to be a new chapter for Connor Kent as a whole. Moving on to number 5, which is the new arc of Dark Ride. This is one of my favorite indie books out right now. I am a big fan of theme parks, so I love the idea of a book that kind of lends a horror lens to theme parks and our fandom towards theme parks and the culture of theme parks. So very curious to see where this next chapter is going to go, because issues 1 through 4 is already given us so much information. It's like, all right, how does it up itself for the second story arc? Moving on to number 4, which is Mary Jane and Black Cat issue 5, the best Spider-Man book that's on stands right now, and I'm so sad that is the last issue for this series. But I hope, just like all the other Jed MacKay Black Cat series, it gives us something else. It gives us another miniseries, another ongoing, because I do not want him to stop telling Black Cat stories. And let Mary Jane be part of the ride too, because I really like how he wrote Mary Jane as well. Moving on to number 3, which is The Great British Bump Off, issue 1. I usually don't watch baking shows, but I love cooking shows. It is one of my favorite things to watch. I love Food Network. I love Hell's Kitchen. So this was totally up my alley. And I like that there's a detective spin to it. It has a cartoony spin to it. I think the creator of Giant Days is working on it. So all win-wins for this. So very, very excited. Number 2 for me is Second Coming Trinity issue 1. I love Second Coming. I very much enjoy the commentary, the religious commentary, the satire of it all, but then just the characters that Mark Russell has created here with Jesus and our superheroes. I'm curious to see what the 3rd volume is going to bring. Will this be the last volume? And what type of commentary it will have, because every volume has upped its game. And moving on to number 1, this is the obvious number 1 for me, and that is Green Arrow issue 1. I've been so excited ever since the announcement for this one. I think there's so much potential. Joshua Williamson has hit home runs everywhere at DC Comics, and I've already know that he writes Green Arrow really well with what he did with Connor Hawke and Robin. And I love the concept of it. We actually get to see the Green Arrow family and see them involved to try to save the Green Arrow, try to save Oliver, who is lost, which is the whole concept of his character being lost. That's how he started all this with the island. So I love the idea of kind of going back to basics, but also putting a new twist on it. And yeah, very, very excited for that one. Let me know in the comments below what are the books you're most excited for the month of April, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Bye.